Welcome to the People in Legal podcast. We are filming this at the Legaltech Hub 𝗶𝗶𝘆 conference here in Sydney. And you three have beautifully come off of the stage from the conversation around the future of the legal profession and talking about rethinking legal learning in this AI era. Before we get into the questions, I'll get you to introduce yourselves. And I know, Terri, you've been on People in Legal before, but we'll start with you and pass the mic around.
Sure. I'm Terri Mottershead. I'm the principal of Mottershead Consulting.
I'm Kate Booth. I'm Head of Learning and Development at MinterEllison.
I'm Carolyn Austin. I'm the Regional Practice Innovation Counsel at K&L Gates.
Lovely. And so you've just come off the stage talking all things what the future is going to be in rethinking legal education in the AI era. What are some of the ways, in your opinion, that law firm leaders could be supporting the needs for the future right now?
For me, the fundamental one is experimentation, is creating a safe space that's both psychological safety, but also to overcome the fear that anyone has in terms of the tech itself, to create that space where people can experiment, they can make mistakes, they can become familiar, they can push through all of those things. There's many others, but to me, that's the one that stands out. And so for leaders, encouraging people as well as themselves getting into it, I think is really important.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, absolutely, Terri. I think that's right. Other things for leaders to be focused on, I think, is normalizing. So experimentation and normalizing. And I think bringing AI into the very first delegation conversation is one really simple example. But it just takes away the junior's apprehension about, should I be using this? How should I be using that? So to normalise, I think, is a really important part. And you can only normalise if you understand the tools themselves, because if we can't sell the work, we can't price the work, we can't delegate, supervise and deliver the work if we don't understand that basis. So getting to know the tools at the level that a leader should, and being prepared to normalise those tools and their use for juniors.
Great.
Absolutely agree. And I guess the thing that I would add to experimentation and normalization would be definitely integration. So not thinking about AI training solely as technological training, but thinking about it as education and professional development that will really help lawyers to embed and operationalize using AI to deliver client services, and doing that in an environment that isn't just all about usage activity on an individual basis, but it's much more about outcomes on a team basis. I think that's something that would be great for leaders to think about and start to prioritize.
Yeah, fantastic. So we have like unlearning, making it safe, getting familiar and encouraging others, and of course ensuring that that's all integrated and that we're constantly going back to that. That's some really practical advice right there, which is wonderful. And so when it comes to that initial legal education in AI, what do you think is the biggest opportunity that's disguised as a threat right now?
I think we feel threatened by technology in a way because we think it's going to take our jobs.
Or that's what we're told, right?
That's right. or it's somehow going to make us less. I think of it as supercharging us and actually making us more. So I think there's a bit of a mindset shift around that, from, pushing through again that fear factor, but actually seeing how it can supercharge you, but also at the same time thinking about how you have to reinvent the way that you conceive work as well as delivering it, and being willing to kind of be very creative around that. And lawyers are actually really creative. I mean, they're the subject area experts that are providing the information for a lot of this technology. So for me, that's the thing. We see all of the technology as a threat. I see it as actually one of our greatest opportunities.
I think two things I want to mention. Opportunities disguised as threats. First one is traditional disciplines in law firm like knowledge management, like librarians, research scholarship, like my field of design thinking, finding out, start with the problem to be solved, that kind of a lens. These things were, I think, not too long ago thought about as being replaced by AI because like this, in the early days of Google, right?
Yeah.
When librarians feared that people would just search Google and rely on those. Nothing could be further from the truth. Those disciplines, and I would add data management to knowledge management as well, have really sharply come into focus, and they're going to be even more important to law firms as they go forward. So I think that's one. And the other one that is probably very thinly disguised because I think it's an amazing opportunity is the new roles that are emerging in law firms. So legal engineers, the ability for lawyers now to think about, well, maybe there's another career path for me in law. Maybe it isn't just that I have to staple on the three-piece suit and become a partner in a few years. Maybe I could be somebody who could combine these legal technology skill sets and really do something different and something creative with my law degree. And I think that's a great opportunity.
Now, can I ask, what is a legal engineer?
Well, that is subject to a number of different definitions. I mean, you can ask the folks who are standing down the back, the vendors, because they are recruiting them at a rate of knots.
Yeah.
But to me, it's somebody who can apply their understanding of legal practice and workflows and overlay what they know about the way that generative AI works, particularly from an agentic perspective, to be able to solve problems.
Oh, yeah. Great. So from your diverse experience in legal practices, what insights are you able to share about the challenges that must be overcome when improving digital and AI literacy outcomes?
I think the first thing is that you have to know what your starting point is. So you do have to do a bit of what we would have called the old training needs analysis. Now it's kind of the AI or digital literacy analysis to see where you are. And the reason that you do that is you've got to know your benchmark. You've got to know your foundation and where you're starting from. Because, as Carolyn's just touched on, we're talking about a multidisciplinary team of people now to deliver legal solutions. And so it's not just where the lawyers are, it's where all of the other folks are, and where they may be great in technology, maybe they would benefit from some education in areas of the law that they're working in. So it's kind of looking at your workforce, I think, holistically, and then working out what your foundation is. And then it's a decision, I think, increasingly about whether you build something, and this came up in the session earlier, whether you build something yourself, whether you bring in some external help, whether you combine the two. The response there was mostly that people are combining the two in order to be able to deliver the sort of learning that's required. But I think the other point that I'd add, because I know my colleagues here will have lots to say about this as well, is that the approach has to be one of lifelong learning. Because it's not just the tech, but more importantly, almost the impact of the tech and how that's changing practice is going to be something that's going to be with us forever.
It goes back to your attitude shift and
Absolutely.
unlearning.
Absolutely.
I think lawyers are good at that, right? That lifelong learning. I mean, it only takes the next new case to drop or a new piece of legislation to come out, and you have to update your mental models about the way the world works. And I think we need to apply that to our tools as well. Yes. So I absolutely agree, Terri, that getting a baseline is important. Something that we're noticing, though, is that whenever we try and prescribe curriculum, the earth moves from underneath us, right? Because it's changing so quickly. So yes, being prepared to keep relearning and unlearning and relearning is a part of that, for sure. So I think that's a big challenge, is just the rapid pace of it. But also, Ethan Mollick talks about the jagged frontier of what AI tools are good at and are not good at. I actually think there's a bit of a jagged edge as well when it comes to AI literacy, fluency, dexterity, because you may have a really great understanding of how to get the best out of a particular tool for a particular purpose, and get that client outcome that you need, but be completely lost, not very far away from that. And I think prescribing curriculum in a rapidly changing environment across that breadth is challenging. And so we've got to be able to we equip people, but our people leaning into the opportunity of developing more of a principles-based approach to AI literacy. I think that's important. And Carolyn raises a really important point around agentic capability, which is a whole new overlay, I think, to the tool usage itself.
That principles-based also reflects what the Federal Circuit and Family Court guidance, practice direction is as well, because that's principles-based when it comes to the AI literacy piece. And what about for you, the challenges that that you see in this?
Gosh, they are myriad. Yeah. I do think, could I just answer it by saying this to people who are working in legal education, whether that is in law firms or in-house, or whether that is in third-party providers of education, or indeed in the in universities, I would say keep going. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed by the constant changes and waking up every day and thinking, oh my gosh, 6 things happened yesterday that I now have to change my curriculum to support. That's the era that we live in. But how great to be us in this era, that we get to have the challenges and the excitement around building something new for the future. So I would say hold on to that and keep going, because those outcomes, you have to reassess them all the time. You have to think about it from all of the different perspectives, clients and talent recruitment and retention and partner profitability and all those great things that you have to think about, and you have to keep doing that, I'm afraid. But how fun is it?
Can I add one thing to that? Which is, and let's work on it all together, because it's a learning continuum. It's not a silo.
And it's an investment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.